Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 2,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
Broncos Nation, buckle up because this one is a total roller coaster. And if you only look at the final score, you are going to miss the real story completely. Yes, the Denver Broncos just fell 33-13 to the Green Bay Packers. Yes, this game got sloppy. And yes, by the time it was over, it genuinely was not much of a competition. But here is the thing nobody is talking about enough. The guys who actually matter, the first and second stringers who are going to be starting for this football team, come week one, they looked fantastic. Bo Nix looked fantastic. This game is a tale of two completely different football teams wearing the same jersey, and we are about to break down every single piece of it, the electric, the encouraging, and the downright ugly. So stick around because there's a ton to get into. But first, if you are new here, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button right now. We are grinding toward 1,000 subscribers on this channel, and every single one of you watching can help us get there today. So lock it in before we dive into this breakdown. Let us start with the man himself because Bo Nix put together maybe his most complete preseason performance yet. This is a quarterback who looks completely locked into this Davis Webb-led offense, and it shows in every single rep. His feet look quieter in the pocket. He is hitting his back foot and letting the ball fly with total confidence instead of second guessing himself. He looked fully mobile out there, showing zero lingering effects from that ankle injury that had fans worried earlier in camp. And he worked through his progressions like a quarterback who has genuinely mastered this offense. Every box you want checked for a franchise quarterback heading into a pivotal season, Bo Nix checked it tonight. If you are a Broncos fan wondering whether this offense is going to take a leap this year, tonight should have you feeling really, really good about the direction things are headed. And it was not just Nix. Rookie receiver Jaylen Waddle continues to look like an absolute problem for opposing defenses. And honestly, the word people keep using is lightning. This kid is fast in a way that jumps off the screen. He hauled in a 35-yard reception off a throw that only traveled about 18 air yards, meaning the rest of that gain was pure legs, pure separation, pure explosiveness. After the catch, that connection between Bo Nix and Jaylen Waddle is only going to get scarier as the season rolls on. And if you are an opposing defensive coordinator, that combination should genuinely keep you up at night. Now let us talk about the only touchdown Denver scored through the air tonight because it went to running back RJ Harvey, and this might be the most encouraging development of the entire preseason so far. Harvey is running significantly more between the tackles this year compared to last season, showing a level of physicality and aggression that simply was not part of his game before. And he remains just as dangerous, maybe even more dangerous, as a receiving threat out of the backfield. Put that together with Jonah Coleman and J.K. Dobbins in that same backfield, and you are looking at a running back room that has a real case to be one of the best in the entire National Football League this season. That is not hyperbole. Broncos country, that is a real, legitimate strength for this football team heading into the year. There were more bright spots, too, tucked into that group of players fighting right on the roster bubble between the ones and the twos. Tyler Rennetum stood out with a handful of really encouraging plays. And on the defensive side, edge rusher Q Robinson may have been the single most impressive player on the entire field tonight, generating pressure after pressure and finishing the night with a sack. Absolutely feasting on whichever backup quarterback Green Bay threw at him. When a young edge rusher looks that disruptive against NFL competition, even backup competition, that is a name you want to remember heading into final roster decisions. All right, that is the good news, and there was genuinely a lot of it. But we have to talk about why this game still ended in a 20-point loss, because it did, and the reasons are pretty clear once you dig into it. Before we get into the rough stuff, though, make sure you have smashed that like button, and if you have not subscribed yet, now is the perfect time. Because we are closing in on 1,000 subscribers, and this community keeps growing every single day, thanks to fans just like you sticking around for the honest breakdowns. All right, now let us get into the bad. The single most glaring issue tonight was the offensive line, specifically the third, fourth, and fifth string unit that took over for the back half of the game. These guys were rough. They gave the backup quarterback running the offense absolutely no time to operate whatsoever, none. And he ended up running for his life on play after play, which is a brutal spot to be in when you are not exactly the most mobile guy on the roster to begin with. Gavin Ortega got beaten on multiple occasions, and the offensive line as a whole simply did not hold up. Now, the silver lining here is real. A lot of these players fighting for reps on that third and fourth string offensive line are not going to be on this roster in a few weeks. Some are auditioning for practice squad spots. Others are essentially putting together tape for other teams around the league. So while it looked ugly on the field, it is not the kind of thing that should have Broncos fans panicking about the actual week one offensive line because your starters were never on the field for that stretch. The defense had its own rough patches too, particularly in the secondary. The run defense actually held up reasonably well for most of the night, and the pass rush remained a legitimate weapon, but the coverage unit struggled in stretches. Quarterback depth piece Chris Abrams' drain got picked on repeatedly, targeted 7 or 8 times over the course of the game, and it just was not his sharpest outing. He is normally an outstanding zone corner who does not let anything get over the top of him, but tonight he was giving up 8 and 9 yard slants over and over again. That is exactly the kind of rep a depth quarter needs to get through in the preseason, though, because if this player is ever forced into starting duty during the regular season, better he works through these growing pains now than in week 10 with the game on the line. The linebacker core did not exactly jump off the screen either in either direction. Nothing was disastrous, but nothing was thrilling. A defender named Red played about as well as anyone in that group, and rookie linebacker Terry Noworick actually put together a nice tackle that unfortunately got wiped out by a penalty. Overall, it was a quiet, uneventful night from that position group, which in preseason terms is not the worst outcome, but it is also not the kind of tape that gets a fan base excited. And then there is special teams, which was arguably the ugliest unit on the field tonight. Lane integrity was a mess throughout, particularly for what looked like second and third string special teamers, and that is an area that absolutely needs to get cleaned up before the games start counting for real. Special teams breakdowns have a sneaky way of deciding close football games, and this performance is a clear signal that there's real work to be done there before week one arrives. Now, let us not forget the officiating, because Broncos fans watching at home were not exactly thrilled with what they saw from the officials tonight. The flags felt inconsistent throughout, and more than one call seemed to swing heavily in Green Bay's favor. To be fair, preseason officiating crews are working out their own kinks just like the players are. But if this is any kind of preview of what to expect once the games start mattering, that is a storyline worth keeping an eye on as the regular season approaches. So where does that leave us, Broncos Nation? Here is the honest truth. This was not a good final score. Losing by 20 points to a team's second, third, and fourth stringers is never going to look good on paper, and if you graded this performance as a whole, it lands somewhere in the D range. Plain and simple. But context matters enormously here. The players who are actually going to be on the field in week one, the ones this entire season hinges on, looked outstanding. Bo Nix looked like a quarterback who has taken a real step forward. Jaylen Waddle looks like a legitimate difference maker as a rookie. RJ Harvey looks like a more complete, more physical version of himself heading into a crowded but talented backfield. Q Robinson looks like a real weapon off the edge. The ugliness tonight came almost entirely from players fighting for practice squad spots or auditioning for other rosters around the league, and that is exactly what preseason football is designed to expose. This is the point in the calendar where you find out who belongs and who does not, and tonight did plenty of that. There is also a lingering question mark worth mentioning, and that is the status of cornerback Riley Moss, who opened the game with an excellent pass breakup on the very first defensive snap of the night, showing off exactly the kind of fluid, sticky coverage that has made him such a valuable piece of the secondary. Unfortunately, Moss appeared to be in pain after getting dinged up on a strip sack early in the game, seemingly around the ribs. As of this breakdown, there is no official update on his status, so we are all waiting to hear from the coaching staff on exactly what is going on there. The moment any real news comes out about Riley Moss, we will have it here for you, so make sure that notification bell is turned on so you do not miss it the second it drops. Looking ahead, Broncos Nation, this is not the last chance to see this team before the games start counting. There is still one more preseason matchup on the schedule against the Minnesota Vikings, and that will be the final tune-up before roster decisions get finalized and this team turns its full attention to the regular season. Expect the story to look similar. Keep an eye on the starters and the players fighting for the back half of the roster, because that is where the real intrigue lives from here on out. So here is my question for all of you watching right now. What grade would you give tonight's performance? Are you with me on a D, considering how ugly that final score looked? Or do you think the strong showing from Bo Nix, Jaylen Waddle, RJ Harvey, and Q Robinson deserves more credit than that? Drop your grade down in the comments below because I want to see exactly where Broncos Nation stands on this one. And that is going to do it for this breakdown, Broncos faithful. But before you go anywhere, I need 3 quick things from you. First, if you have not hit that subscribe button yet, please do it right now because we are so close to 1,000 subscribers, and every single person watching this video can be the one who helps us cross that finish line. Second, smash that like button because it genuinely helps get this honest, no-nonsense Broncos analysis in front of more fans just like you every single day. And third, drop a comment with your grade for tonight's game and let us get a real conversation going down there because I read every single one of them. We have got the final preseason matchup against the Vikings coming up next week. And yes, we will even be giving away a Jaylen Waddle jersey, so you are not going to want to miss that. Until next time, Broncos country, mile high salute. Be cool.
Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 2,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy the content, please hit that subscribe button right now.